What's up, everybody? You know, I was going to try to probably read something like this today or yesterday, but as you probably see in my two-part vlog, my mom was up. My mom was off work, had taken that day off, so there was no way possible unless I went into my bathroom, shut my door, and had my TV on so she wouldn't know. It's the only way. But as you can see up there, this is basically basically it says right there, I'm going to say right now, LA and ASL, rant and question. Well, it's not totally a rant by LA, if you will. That's what we're going to call him, LA. But it's basically using a metaphor. A metaphor that was coined by Gail Salmon. Gail Salmon. You might recognize that name. And I will provide the link down below to who these people are, and you can have an idea of who I'm talking about. The other one is a question about the fans of a certain particular writer, and I think you might all know who that is. Now again, just to let you guys know, this is not to show favoritism to one side or any other side. I am totally in the middle, and I know you guys look at it in a different way and think, oh, you're not in the middle, you're not this, you're not that. Well, you know what? Say what you will, but I'm sticking by my guns no matter what. Okay? Alright. Well, let's take a look at the first one. The metaphor that LA uses, which is coined by Gail Salmon, is women stuffed in refrigerators. And this was posted about 5 hours ago. About 5.5 hours ago exactly. Maybe 6. But this is what they said, and I quote, "As this lovely mess we call the Mecca Sally arc painfully reaches its end, we can look over as to what made it horrible in the first place. This whole arc was done for the sake of doing a bunch of unnecessary lazy redesigns for Sally and the SatAM cast. I find it kind of funny that Flynn says that these characters are old, outdated, and niche characters that need a design upgrade. But the irony is that the whole friggin' franchise is exactly what he said about Sally and the SatAM characters. I doubt that he would admit to that. But with the way he's so wishy-washy and flip-floppy about it, he might say it, then later on take back what he said. So how does women in the refrigerators fit the Mecca Sally arc? Let me explain why. Women stuffed in the refrigerators, that's what it said. Women stuffed in refrigerators was coined by Gail Salmon, and they provide a link so you can check that out at TV Tropes. She then created a website dedicated to pointing out the double standard towards any female, may they be a minor superhero or not, would end up suffering very horribly until bleh. She then created a website dedicated to pointing out the double standard towards any female, may they be a minor superhero or not, who would end up suffering very horrible and terrible fates. When it's used poorly, women stuffed in refrigerators does not make proper character development, period. It's when one of the main supporting cast or the whole cast of supporting characters are subjected to horrible fates, whether done out for the sake of pure drama or to make the main males cast members to look better. Most of the females that have suffered this have not returned back to normal, especially if the capitalized WSIR was used to make a good heroic female characters. Okay, especially if the women stuffed in refrigerators was used to make a good heroic female character or characters to become evil for no reason. This is something along the lines as a cheap tactic to keep the story fresh, shows that the comic staff doesn't care about the characters anymore, or that the writer has written himself into a corner. Here's how this fits the Mecha Sally arc. One of the Green Lantern story arcs had Green Lantern Kyle Rayner's girlfriend, Alexandra DeWitt, be brutally murdered and stuffed into a refrigerator by one of the series' villains, Major Force. There have been other female characters. Excuse me for a second. Okay. There have been other female characters that have been turned evil, brainwashed, raped, and killed for drama and shock. There has been a few rare cases of male characters that have suffered from this. Most of the time, if a male supporting character has been turned evil, or they are affected by this, they are able to go back to normal, while the female counterpart stays evil forever. And then he goes, cough, Fiona, cough. If you get the idea. Take a look back on the arc, and you can see the double standard that has taken place. Go back even further, look at all of Flint's arcs starting at issue 60 and to current, while counting how many times he's used the women stuffed in refrigerator double standard towards any of the female cast members, close family and friends of the main cast, and certain members of the comics main cast. Because this whole damn mess of an arc was not needed to make changes to a group of characters' designs and causing the fan base to go into a crazed frenzy of hatred and bickering. It's not like the fan base needed to be even more divided than it already is. Okay, so basically what they're saying here, what LA is saying here, is that, and I know some of you might find the metaphor and everything ridiculous and a ridiculous example, but what he's saying is that basically it wasn't necessary to do this arc just for a redesign. It wasn't necessary to turn Sally evil, just to redesign her into the, proposed redesign for next year. And obviously from what they said, with the possibility that she might change personality-wise. I mean, he doesn't say personality-wise, but, but basically you could read that in there. You could read that that's basically what they're saying. Now, let me counter it by saying this. I don't think, one, she's going to have a change in personality. It might be a tweak. If anything, she might be tweaked in personality, that's it. I do believe that the final design might please all the fans, because I think they're going to be hopefully listening. I pray and hope that they listen to the fans and to go like, okay, this needs that. And right now we shouldn't really be complaining about that, because those people up there, whether they live in the vicinity or not, are kind of going through a crisis right now, folks. So, I don't know if Memorex, New York got affected as much as New York City, but they're kind of going through a crisis right now. So, I understand what they're saying here, and I have respect for their opinions, but the truth is, that's their opinions, and they're entitled to them, and they may have some points, and they may not have some points. I'll let you comment and figure that out yourself. Alright, the next one is by ASL, done about 15 hours ago. It's entitled question about Ian's fans. And this is what ASL says. Let me check my time first before I do this. Okay, I got plenty of time. But this is what ASL says in this entry entitled Question About Ian's Fans. This is what they say, and I quote, "I got a question for those of the group here, depending on what group you think of. Do you honestly believe these fans are just that blind when it comes to Ian and his bad writing? That nothing he says or does will ever make them turn on the man? And before any of Ian's fans come on here to flame us for this question, thinking I'm insulting them, I'm not talking about those who have acknowledged Ian can do better than he's doing. At least they're honest enough to admit that, and I'll give them credit for it. No, I'm referring to those who, when you give them fact after fact about how bad Ian is as a writer, they instead label you as a troll or a hater, even block you because you didn't, quote-unquote, tolerate and accept it. That's sadly what one did to me recently. I'm tempted to give his account name since he immaturely blocked me, but I won't stoop to his level of obnoxiousness. Let him be the jerk. You know, I think the proverb, quote-unquote, 'There's none so blind as those who will not see,' could not be truer here." And that's basically ASL's standard, what ASL had to say. And ASL, I will say this. Let me check my time here first. I will say this. I kind of understand what you're talking about. You kind of feel that people need to, realize, hey, Ian's not everything he's cracked up to be. He's not everything you guys want to believe he is. But ASL, let me say this. Ian, the fans of Ian Flynn, the ones that, like myself, I'm not a fan actually, I'm just someone that respects him, but someone like me who comes out and says, hey, he can do better. He has the potential to be great. You're right, at least they're honest. But those that follow Ian, let me put it to you this way. They're the kind of people that have been with Ian since the days of Other M, in my opinion. They've enjoyed his Other M story. They might even have helped him on his Other M story. That's why you probably hear these people supporting him. That's why. Also, I think, in my honest opinion, I know I might get flamed for this, maybe they're afraid that if Ian goes, they might bring somebody like Ken or Carl back into the fold as the new head writer. Someone like them. Not exactly them, but someone. And that may be what they don't want. And maybe that's why they want to support him and, positively criticize him on things that he does. Give him great criticism. Say he's doing the best job of all. He's the best of all time. And if they want to do that, that's their opinion. That's their right. So, if you guys want to, that's all I'm going to say about it. But if you guys, any of you want to comment down below on these two channels, I'll provide the links down below. And let me know what you think. Let them know what you think. Video responses are indeed welcome. Comments are welcome. And I'll talk to you all later. You all have a good night.